This is a video I've been wanting to discuss for quite some time. Union leader Eddie Dempsey was asked by a TV host if workers were being greedy, union workers were being greedy for asking for a pay raise. Take a look at this.
I have to tell you, it's a bit of a cheek having a programme asking trade unions being greedy for asking for a pay rise. The FTSE 350 top companies in this country, profits have gone up 73% since 2019. When are we going to ask, are they being greedy? What about the railway companies that have been ripping this country off for years?
The point is,
no one asks about their profits or whether they're greedy.
You're going on strike, and it's going to impact
We're going on
everyday
strike.
people going to work. It's at
That's
the start
right.
of the Commonwealth Games. That's going to
No, it's not at the start of the Commonwealth Games.
At its height.
It's not at the start of the Commonwealth Games. We didn't strike on the Commonwealth Games. It's the day before.
The day before it starts.
The day before is not the Commonwealth Games.
As it's starting, you've got people travelling.
It starts the day after. They'll be travelling on the day too.
To Birmingham for the Games, it's going to impact them.
People will find it hard on a strike day. But people will find it hard when it's not a strike day, because there's people in this country spending 18% of their income travelling on trains. We've got the highest fares in Europe because profiteers have been robbing this country blind for years. At the same time, later on in this year, energy prices are going to be so high, some of my people will be spending 2 full months of take-home pay on energy. And you're telling us that we're greedy for expecting workers to keep up with that. What we need in this country is a cost of living crisis addressed through the wage packet, and we need price caps on energy, and we need the profits taken down a peg or two. Because the people at the top of the economy, they're having a disco, and everyone else is being told that they've got to carry the can and tighten their belts. It's not on.
Wow, that was quite astonishing from Mr. Dempsey there. So, firstly, what I would like to do is just very briefly address the interviewer there, the TV host. I'm not sure what her name is, but I think it's quite blatant to see that she's quite literally anti-worker. People like her in her position, though she may very well be an employee, is a person that has found herself in a pretty cozy position, one that provides to her a pretty decent salary, I would suspect, from the, I don't watch the TV network that she works for, but I would imagine that if they're anything like most Western media, they're entirely inadequate and insufficient, and they lie on a regular basis, and they do what she did in that video, which tried to smear union workers that were striking for better, you pretty much know, pay, benefits, job security, and all the rest of it. It's what they do. I love how he went into the corporate profits or the big business making all this money, which we're going to get into, and she just kind of glossed over that and said, oh, but the point is what exactly? The point is what? And then she points to, well, you guys are striking. Yeah, they are striking. What other way do workers have to fight back other than to take away their labor, the things that make these societies run? I mean, I don't understand. And until you change the organization of labor, that will continue to be the organization of production, that will continue to be the only method that workers have in order to fight back against the system. Now that we've addressed her and her horrendous ideology, Mr. Eddie Dempsey touched on something there that I don't think is talked about enough. And it's the fact that a small minority of people, I'm an American, so I'll just speak within the confines of the states. A small minority, but it applies to pretty much every other society. A small minority of people have the ability to do something like raise the prices of whatever good it is that we consumers buy. The large majority of us don't have such a luxury. And so when prices go up, i.e. when we experience an inflation, well, it's no real secret, although the mainstream media makes sure that it seems as it is, with their insanely mystifying and ridiculous curiosity surrounding inflation, as if we don't know how to stop it, like we haven't had means to stop it in the past, or at the very least deal with it. They don't want to address the problem that is really at the root of all of this. And it's the fact that a small number of people basically run the society, and they run it, of course, to the benefit of their own, and their main motive is to increase their own profits. And that's pretty much what Mr. Dempsey was touching on there. We've seen statistic after statistic since the pandemic basically kicked off in 2020 about how these billionaires and corporations and insanely wealthy people have doubled, tripled, quadrupled, quintupled their wealth over the course of this pandemic, while working people have been forced to suffer. And what I also like that he brought up is that working people are constantly being told, as he phrased, to tighten their belts and carry the can. Well, I can liken that to our current situation. Gas prices have shot through the roof. Europe is experiencing a very bad energy crisis. It's going to be a very cold winter for Europe, basically due to their policies, but that's an entirely different video. As it pertains to U.S. policy, our sanction program towards Russia is ramifying the effects of gas and energy prices in this country. And we're not dealing with the inflation that we're currently facing. Joe Biden is sending letters to big gas and energy moguls like CEOs of Exxon and all the rest of it, basically doing absolutely nothing, which is what he usually does. But through all of that, our leaders have been giving us a very consistent message, and it is that we must endure this because of fill in the blank. We must endure the higher cost in gas prices, the higher cost in whatever for a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk because of Ukraine. There's a war going on in Ukraine, and we have to deal with this because of or it's the fault of some foreign enemy. It's Putin's fault that you can't get baby formula to feed your young. Blame the Chinese. There's so many different fill in the blanks that they often trot out to distract us away from their failure as it pertains to governance, but also to distract away from who really runs this society. And it's not any particular politician. It's the corporations. It's the people that love war, the military industrial complex, the deep state. These are the people that actually run our society. But a large number of our fellow citizens don't know this because the propaganda is so effective and so strong that they are prevented from doing so. But nevertheless, this was really good for Mr. Eddie Dempsey. I'd love to see U.S. labor leaders come out and say things like this. I mean, it's profound, the fact that we don't really get that, or at the very least, if we do, I'm just missing it. But it puts a smile on my face to see somebody actually talk some sense in a moment where many people seem to lack it.